down the road. Okay. Backwards examples. Make sure you know how to do this. It's basically saying find the value required to get a certain average. Find the value required to get a certain average. I would say you should have a backwards example on your study sheet if this is something you find difficult. Okay. So in one game, a football team has offensive drives of 45, 43, 24, 21, and 44 yards. The coach wants the team to achieve a mean of 35 yards per drive for the game. So if you read this and you see mean of 35 yards, they're giving you the average, right? That's the average you want. Some of you might come and see me, Mr. Erickson, I want an average of this. I want a 70 on my final. What do I need to get on the exam to get there? Same idea, okay? What length must the next offensive drive be if the team wants to meet the goal? So here it is. All you have to do is start with the formula, okay? Mean is given. It is 35 yards in this case. It could be anything. It could be anything. So this is the formula for mean. Watch, right? Remember this? Mean is sum of all values divided by the number of values you've added in the first place. That is the formula. So you start with that. Where do you think the 35 is going to go? The 35 replaces which of these three? It replaces this. Okay. The 35 yards will go in there. So the average is given. I'm going to use a red pen to replace that. Okay, so I'm going to go 35 is equal to, what's the sum? Well, let's try it. 45, 43, 24, 21, 44. Like I added all the drives. But how many drives am I going to consider in this calculation? I've already done 5, correct? Yeah. But it says, what must the length of the next offensive drive be? So there are 6. I'm going to just come up with a placeholder for that 6th. This is the 6th drive is right there. That's going to be my placeholder for it. Divided by how many values then? 6, right? So this should be 6 automatically there. So let's clean this up a little bit. You can make this a lot cleaner. So we're going to go 35. Let's add this all up here, this part right there. That adds up. If you do add this up, you get 177, but don't forget about the x. Usually you do, right? Funny. Usually you want to forget about the x, but not in this case, all right? Not in this case. Took a little while, eh? It's early in the morning. I didn't know you were going to go there. But how do I, okay, my ultimate goal is to isolate x, and I know you've seen this before, right? If not, you were sleeping in math class, all right? So I'm going to first and foremost get rid of the 6 here. Okay, so how do you do that? You multiply both sides by 6. You have to do that to both sides. Mr. Dixon, why are you doing that? Because if I multiply by 6, it really makes this irrelevant. Like, why would I divide and multiply by the same thing? You're going to love backwards this after this, right? 6 times 35. So here you multiply. That's 210 is equal to, now you can get rid of all the brackets because that is no longer necessary. What do you do here? Okay, I know some of you you just have a way to figure out what x is right now. I know it. But the proper way of showing it is simply subtracting 177, because remember, you slowly want to like isolate x. That's your ultimate goal. So this gets you to cancel here. You're not dividing, okay? We're not dividing, we're subtracting 177 from both sides. And that gives you 33 yards. And that's equal to x. Okay. So you've just found, okay, the next drive must be 33 yards minimum. You can do more, right? You can, like on your test, 33 minimum to get your goal, but you can score higher. Why not? Must be 33 yards. Okay, now this is always the part, right? You calculate, you come up with your answer, boom. You understand what just happened, right? Does this number seem logical? What might the explanation for this number, might be an explanation for this number? The 33 yards, is this reasonable? As a coach, can you expect your team to do this? You go back to what happened before. Look at the drives that they've achieved, that team. 45, 43, 24, 21, 44. They've had 45, 43, 44 before. So 33 isn't all that difficult to achieve. It's actually very realistic, a realistic goal. Okay? So I will just say this. It seems logical is the same thing as reasonable. To expect a 33-yard drive since the team has achieved 45 yards before. And I think what this question is also saying, wait a minute, what's the average that this coach wants? 35, correct? But the next drive is lower than 35. Why is that? It is because of the high yardage that they've done before. That's why it is okay to have. So I'm going to mention that part. The sixth drive is lower than the average, right? The sixth drive is lower than the average because the team has had drives far above the average in the past. Let me bring this up a little bit. Some of you are probably looking over someone's shoulder, right? So the sixth drive is lower than the average. So you might come to me and say, Mr. Dirks, I want an 80 on the final, my final mark. Okay, you can score 60% on your exam. What? Yeah, because you've done so well. You've probably done 90s and whatever. So maybe your average, right, is going to go lower than what it is. But if you want that goal, it's okay to sometimes just need something lower than the final average you're wanting to. Okay? All right. Let's keep going here. 24. I'm going to see if you can do 24 already on your own, or should I do one more? I'll do one more. Be nice, Mr. Dirksen. Don't just let us swim without being ready, right? Here we go. All right. 6, page 24. In 1 week, The mean number of passengers through a transit turnstile. Anybody know what a turnstile is? If you've been to Canadian Tire at Garden City, they used to have one, right? Or they still have, I think. Something that just like that little bar you cross and it counts you. That's a turnstile. So, right, if you go through transit, I guess in some cities or whatever, they have that. And the average count that they have is 1290. Okay. So basically, you can say that the mean is 1290 passengers. It's already a fact. Okay, the mean number of passengers per day is that. How many people have passed through the turnstile on Sunday? So you've got Monday to Saturday. Sunday is unknown. This is like your 7th day or your X, right? This is my X, my unknown. So you do it just like before. Average is sum. I'm just going to go sum divided by number of values. Okay. So I'm going to go 1290 is equal to, and we're going to consider how many days? 7, correct? With that X there. I'm okay with you doing this. Some students just do this. They go to the chart and they just show me what this adds up to. Right? Instead of writing down every single number, they just go to, if there's a table just like that, and that adds up to, I'll just cut to the chase here, 8102. And this is the 7th day. So technically the sum would be 8102 plus that Sunday, right? This is Sunday. And then this is ultimately what you should get when it's all cleaned up. Okay, what am I going to do first? I get rid of the 7. Sure, you can do it differently, but the most efficient and less problematic way of doing it is getting rid of the division here. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. This is so satisfying, right? Cancel, cancel. Just cancel it out there. 7 times 1290 is, I'll just give you the number, 9,030. And on this side, all you're left with is this. Last step, subtract by 8102, like whatever is next to the X, right? Cancel this out. 928 passengers. So it's also lower than the average, right? Because other days have higher numbers. Is that, yeah, that's all I wanted to do there. And next, here, I might ask you, does this number seem logical? What might an explanation for this number be? Okay, I think it's logical because Sunday it's not as busy normally, right? Sunday is usually, most people are off on Sunday. So we can say here, yes, it is logical, comma, since most people are off work on Sundays. And you're like, not me, Mr. Erickson, if I work Saturday, Sunday, right? It's like, yeah, but most people are off. Okay, all I want you to do is like think about the number you've achieved, right? And if you write your heart out when you get one of these, right? Everything that you observe, just bring it out to the forefront. Okay, I will say this. I'm going to add this to your notes. If you want full marks for these, because some of you are going to try numbers, you're going to plug in. Oh, this is the one. If you want marks, you must show this. Okay? Must show to get marks. If I ask you to do this algebraically or I'm not going to say backwards. That's just a term that I use with you. But it's algebraically, then you need to show. So how many lines would this be? 1, 2, 3. 3 lines. That's all I'm asking. Okay? If you want to do some work on the side here, that's fine with me. But 3 lines if you want to get full marks there. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to do more backwards types of scenarios, but mean, median, mode doesn't go anywhere. It does not go anywhere. So I'm going to ask you to try everything to 28. So 25 to 28. There's some backwards, but not all of them are backwards. But there are questions, if you flip through them, that will get you through it. Okay? Use the time wisely.